Welcome back to continuing coverage of the stock car portion of Speed Weeks 97 at Daytona International Speedway. They're small, but they're powerful. The NASCAR Goodies Dash Series is about to roll here at the World Center of Racing, their first round of qualifying, and this should be fun.
As a matter of fact, they're so powerful that NASCAR has to restrict the 165 cubic inch 4 cylinders.
And they still run over 160 miles an hour.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun. In fact, why don't we go further than that and take a real close look at how these cars operate as ESPN puts you in the seat. This compact isn't out for a Sunday drive. With its 4-cylinder 165 cubic inch engine, it's a real screamer. At 13-to-1 compression, it can't resist its 325 ponies, but at this big oval, they pull in the reins and restrict them to 250 horsepower. This 100-inch wheelbase car rides at a height of 47 inches, and they love to draft. And in the draft, economy's the game, as their 8-gallon fuel capacity can carry them a long way down the track. These 2,650-pound pint-sized racers hit speeds of 160 miles an hour at 7,000 RPM. This is the way they're going to qualify. They'll have one lap of qualifying, and they're only going for positions 1 through 20 today. Then everybody under that will either have to stand on his time or qualify again tomorrow.
And that 2,650 pounds you saw just a moment ago, that is including the driver. They weigh the drivers with the cars.
All right, 40 from qualifying, then 2 possible provisionals based upon the 1996 driver point standings. And then there is no past champions provisional in this series.
And that's key, driver's points.
Yes.
Not owner's points, driver's points.
So there could be 42 in the field. They are lining up for qualifying. The scoring system is being switched over, and it won't be too long before these 4-cylinder cars will be out there for qualifying for Friday's race that we will bring you live on ESPN beginning at 11 o'clock in the morning on Friday.
There's Shane Jenkins pushing his car in line. That's the 85 car.
Of the famous Racing Jenkins family,
right.
I might point out. There's no relation there, but we started that little joke last year, and it was so good that we'll do it again this year. He's one of the many drivers who will be carrying onboard cameras on Friday. Bill, is that you?
Sure is, Bob. How you doing up there?
Good. You?
First thing I'm doing great. First thing we want to establish is you're absolutely, positively no relation to our beloved Bob Jenkins.
Oh no! Don't put that on me. Not that I know of.
Tell everybody about yourself, Shane.
Well, just basically from Statesboro, Georgia. Criminal justice bachelor in college. We're a family-run organization. Been doing this for about 20 years, and you know, this is just the beginning. We want to go up to Busch and maybe up the Cup one day.
How about your practice speeds? How have they come for you?
We're kind of sluggish because to begin with, we didn't get a Speedway car ready, and so we had to bring this short track car. It's got a lot of downforce, and we're going to have to run a lot of gear to push it.
A short track car at Daytona?
Well, you have to do with what you got, and when you don't have a sponsor, a major sponsor, we have some sponsors, Homes of Merit out of here in Florida, and we got...
You got an in-car camera, right?
Yeah, Homes of Merit wanted to see their name.
Okay, now I want you to do me a favor, Shane. I want you to look right in that camera and smile. If you add the sunglasses and the goatee, he's a dead ringer for Bob Jenkins, I think.
I tell you, I'd be proud to have that boy in my family.
Well, I'm telling you.
He's a good race driver and a good-looking guy, and he's a criminal justice graduate. I'm interested in hearing that. Got some law enforcement in the family.
Yeah. Well, you expecting on needing him?
Yeah, I may be calling him here. All right, we'll take a break, and then we'll get ready for qualifying here at Daytona on a beautiful, beautiful afternoon. Stay with us. Back as the first car in the Goodies Dash Series to attempt qualification is on the racetrack. Now, remember, only one lap. You got to make it count here. And Mario, actually his real name is Dave, but they call him Mario Heightshouse, is on the racetrack.
From Strackersville, New York. And these cars, once again, one lap. This is something unusual. here in Daytona.
This guy has a background in motocross, and his bio says that he's run virtually every class of snowmobile in the United States. Here's the green flag, and the run begins.
I guess Trackersville, New York is upstate New York.
Probably up there where they get a lot of snow during the year.
Now look at this. He is running the high line around the racetrack in the NASCAR Winston Cup and the NASCAR Busch Series. They all run the bottom of the racetrack, although he did come off the bottom, went in high, came off the bottom. And these are 4 cylinders, 165 cubic inches. Unrestricted, they probably have 325 horsepower. Pretty good. Probably 2 horsepower per cubic inch, somewhere around there. But they do restrict them with a 1/8 inch restrictor plate. Because they would probably, and we see he goes in high and comes on the bottom of the racetrack, right on the bottom of the racetrack. Whoa. Touch the apron with the left side.
This is the TDH Refrigerator Draper Trucking Pontiac, and the run is complete for Dave Mario Heightshouse. And we are awaiting the time and speed report. Well, it's 60.176 and a speed of 149.561.
60.176. We'll be seeing speeds well over 160 miles per hour here this afternoon. You see the little bit of water coming out the back of his car.
As the next car to attempt qualification has pulled off of the line here in front of us and gone on to the racetrack. And this is Davis Myers from Batesburg, South Carolina, at a 95 Sunfire. He finished 19th in the 1996 points and was 8th in last year's race.
Trying to get the RPMs up. That's the reason they run up high on the racetrack, trying to get the RPMs up, get the speed going as fast as they can. At this racetrack, it's 2.5 miles around, but believe it or not, they cannot get up to ultimate speed the first time by.
Bill Weber is with Scott Weaver, one of the standout drivers in this series. Bill?
A veteran of, what were you saying, 13 seasons?
This is my 13th year at Daytona.
So how are you doing so far this week?
This week's kind of been rocky. We've had a couple motor problems, and we're doing a lot of guessing. We've lost out on a whole lot of practice, and I hope we got everything together.
Well, do you or don't you? You should know by now.
Well, we hadn't had a practice on this motor. This is a brand new motor, and we've just stuck it in, and hoping we have a good motor. If we get a good clean run, I think the car's capable of running.
Hey, tell the fans what they're going to see when these guys are on the track, because not a lot of people have seen the Goodies Dash Series.
I tell you what, it's a real exciting race. It's close competition. The restrictor plates are just like the Cup cars. It keeps all the cars pretty equal. The guys are pretty careful, and it's pretty exciting. Sometimes you'll have a crash or two because a lot of inexperienced drivers, but it's a place to learn and a place to run and have fun, and it's a good race. Now,
when you guys race here on Friday that we'll see live on ESPN, is the draft a factor for you guys like we see in the Cup and the Busch Series?
Oh, yeah, it's very much a factor. If you happen to step out of line, you'll go right to the back, just like the Cup cars. You got to have a good drafting partner. People's got to work with you all day. If they don't, you can get hung out and go right to the back.
Okay, then my piece of advice to you would be don't get out of line, okay?
That's a smart move.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Hey, Bill.
Yes?
Ask him if he has any more engines. This is his 3rd engine in just 2 days.
Benny wants to know if you have any more engines, because this is what, your 3rd engine in 2 days?
This is our 3rd engine. We've got one more.
Wow.
We've got one more left, and I hope it's enough. I hope we don't need it, and we can keep it and take it home and use it next year.
Okay, our fingers are crossed.
Mine too. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Davis Myers, the 2nd in Rookie of the Year goings in 1995 in this series, is qualified at 148.994, second quick. We've had our 3rd qualifier, and we have had our fastest qualifier. Doc Brewer moves his car up to the #1 spot for the moment after 3 qualifiers, a lap at 59.253, 151.891, and Jerry is with a former pole sitter.
Well, Dave Heightshouse, you were on the pole. Now you're not on the pole anymore, but hey, first time here, a rookie to be on the pole. How about that? You can tell your grandkids about that one.
Well, you know, it sure is exciting to be down here, and we didn't run as good as we expected to. There's something wrong with the car. We can't seem to get the RPMs up in 4th gear, and we're about 600 RPMs off the pace, and that ain't going to stay on the pole very long.
All right, you have a little race well, though. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Dave Heitzaus, Bob.
And as Robert Ham is on the track about to qualify, we will remind you of our coverage tomorrow here on ESPN2. Second round Busch and Dash qualifying, and that will be followed by Winston Cup, Busch, Dash, and IROC practice. It all begins at 1 o'clock, and then Friday, the race involving these cars that you're seeing qualify right now, the NASCAR Goodies Dash Discount Auto Parts 200. It's live over on the other network, ESPN, at 11 o'clock. And then Saturday, we round out our coverage on the track with Happy Hour, 4:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. And then Dave Despain and the boys will be here on Sunday morning prior to the running of the 500-mile race with NASCAR Today. So that's what we've got ahead of us here at Daytona, and Robert Ham is on the racetrack. He started racing back in 1976 and was the Legends Series champion in 94, 95, and 96, and is also a go-karting background.
And he's a local boy from Ormond Beach, just up the road from the Speedway.
Checkered flag falls. Robert Ham becomes our fourth qualifier of the day in the NASCAR Goodies Dash Series.
Time to beat is 151.591, and he did it.
Whoa, did he?
57.965 average speed for Robert, 155.266 miles per hour.
So that is now the time to beat by all the others that will follow. And the next to follow is the driver that we just talked to a few minutes ago, Shane Jenkins from Statesboro, Georgia. Bill is with George Crenshaw.
From Lakeland, Florida, and you're married to Joe Nemechek's sister, right?
That's right, yep.
And you told me you're a young veteran of this series. You've been running about 6 years and got 7 wins?
7 wins and set 6 new track records.
We could see one of those today, maybe, huh?
I don't know. We didn't practice real good that first session this morning. I don't know what's going to happen. We changed the car from yesterday, and
What'd you do?
well,
You can tell. It's just you and me. You can
I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later. But it should help us some. I think we ran 158 this morning. If we can, you know, get 2 more miles an hour, I'll be happy.
Okay. Do you have aspirations to move on, or are you happy here?
Well, I ran the Busch Series in 1995, and that was a tough road. And so I got out of that and come back to the Dash Series, and just going to see what happens here.
All right. Good luck today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, George.
All right, Shane Jenkins from the famous Jenkins Racing family, and the Sunset Carson Housing Chevrolet is on the racetrack. He started last in last year's race and finished in 38th position, about halfway around.
There's the pole position. Time to beat so far, 155.266.
Now, they may look slower than what you've been used to, but there's nothing to sneeze at, 155 miles an hour. And again, wait till we see these things race on Friday. They get in a line and have a tremendous race.
I mean, they look slow, folks, but all of you listen to me. How many of you have driven 155 miles per hour?
Not many. And how many want to? Not me. All right, Shane completes the qualifying run, and his lap is 4th fastest out of the 5 we've had, 60.308. And the speed 149.234.
Our next car scheduled out is Claude Wellman. There he is in the 31 car.
He's been racing since 1983, has driven mini stocks and limited sportsman, late models, and the Goodies Dash Series. Let's go down for another interview, and Bill Weber.
Hey, Bob, all these guys from the South, but not Christian Elder. You're from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yes, sir.
He got lost.
Minnesota.
Vinny says you must have got lost somewhere.
No, I found my way down here. It's a good place to be in February.
Yeah, it is. How do you like it so far?
This is just a beautiful place. The track is beautiful. The people are great here. I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Okay, now you've got some experience in these cars, right?
Yeah, I raced twice 2 years ago and then 5 times last year. And I'm going to run for the Rookie of the Year this year, so we're going to go for them all.
Great. Well, how's it gone so far?
Real good. We were fast in winter testing last month, and we were 3rd fastest yesterday, I believe. So we're crossing our fingers for today.
Well, What kind of changes can you make on these cars? Are they similar to like a Busch car or a Cup car? You can change a spring, a shock to improve the setup?
You can change just about anything you want. You can change the shocks and the springs, and we do all that just for qualifying. We have a different setup for qualifying, and we'll see what we can do today.
All right, we're going the whole series for Rookie of the Year.
That's it. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
To Doc with Doc.
Well, thank you, Bill. Doc Brewer and Dr. Punch. In fact, both of us trained at the same medical school, and Doc Brewer is an emergency medicine doctor. Welcome. Imagine that, some ER doctor liking racing. Hey, Doc, not a bad lap. Second fastest, 59.253.
Yeah, we found a little bit in the last practice, and car felt real good, so we're pleased. There's a lot of headwind on that back stretch, a lot.
They wouldn't let me race. Said, if you get hurt, there'll be nobody to fix us. Now I got you here, I can race.
There you go. We worked something out.
Or Katrina, hey, good luck to you on Friday.
Appreciate it.
Hey, guys, how about that? An emergency room doctor who wants to drive a race car. Who'd have thunk of it?
Boy, I tell you, he's got to have a screw loose someplace.
I think an operation would solve that problem.
All right, Wellman is 60.876, 147.842 for Claude Wellman, currently 6th fastest, and that's how many cars we have had qualify in the NASCAR Goodies Dash Series so far. Back with more of their qualifying after these messages. As Charles Powell completes his qualification run, we would like to tell you that Speed Week is back soon. We have been off for the winter months. However, we will be back on at midnight Eastern Time Friday night with a preview of the Daytona 500, an interview with Larry McReynolds, and we'll look at what else has been going on the short tracks around the Daytona Beach area. Speed Week coming back on the air Friday night at midnight on ESPN. Charles Powell, they call him CP3, Charles Powell III. What'd he do, BP?
He's third so far at 59.314. Average speed for Charles, 151.735 miles per hour.
He won a race last week last year, by the way, in Myrtle Beach. Jerry's with the provisional pole sitter.
Bob, you ever wondered what would happen if you won the lottery, what you'd do with the money? Well, that's what happened to Robert Ham's car owners. That's how they got into racing. They won the Florida lottery, won $10 million, and suddenly here they are racing. And Robert, their winning streak's intact. You're on the pole thus far.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to hold up, though. We only ran 155, which is the best what we ran so far since we've been here. We're having a little trouble, but yeah, they hit the lottery. He tried to race it himself, but he's a little too old for it, so he hired me on to drive for him.
Well, Robert, good luck to you on race day.
Thank you very much.
All right, Bill Weber standing by with another famous name by the name of Yarborough.
And this is Ernie Yarborough, 25 years old, your first trip to Daytona. Tell me what it was like yesterday when you got out on the track.
Oh, it's overwhelming. I got out there for the first time ever yesterday, and we got about 12 or 15 laps in. And it's exciting. I've been coming here with my Uncle Cale for years, but actually get on the track and make some laps on it, it's kind of spooky how steep it is out there in the turns.
Now, with a name like Yarborough, you probably turn to like maybe an uncle for advice?
Yeah. I got a pretty good source of advice there. Cale's been in it, for years and years, and I've been going to the track in Darlington and places like that. So if I need a couple tips, I got a man I can call.
Okay, now you ran 3 of these last year. You want to do the whole series this year, run for Rookie of the Year, but you need some sponsorship.
Exactly. Cale's come on with us and, has offered to help us out if we can get a sponsor and kind of speak for that sponsor also. If we get a sponsor, we'll run all the races this year. We'd like to show up at Charlotte and at Bristol and Homestead and places like that and get somebody's name out there on the car.
It was just announced recently this series is going to Charlotte, and you're excited about that.
Oh, yeah, we'd love to go to Charlotte. We plan on going to Charlotte anyway, even if we don't get a sponsor, because that's a big track. That'd probably be second best to here. This is, you can't beat Daytona, but we'd love to go to Charlotte also.
You sound just like Cale. You ever been told that?
Many times. Look like him and sound like him. All us Yarborough's about the same.
Well, hopefully you can race like him. Good luck.
Thanks very much, Bill.
Boy, I tell you, I'm amazed at how much he sounds like Cale.
There's Edward Howell, qualified at 60.475, 148.822 miles per hour. Talked to Edward this morning, and he said for some reason the cars just will not run. That's teammates with George Crenshaw, and normally those cars are 2 of the best cars at the racetrack, and they just cannot get them to run.
Well, Jerry has caught up with the guy who earlier this afternoon walked away with the Busch Pole Award in the Busch Series.
Well, Bob, can you believe it? We may have a rookie on the pole for the 500 and the 300, at least a rookie here at Daytona. Elliott Sadler, 47.241 seconds. You put Gary Bechtel's Chevy on the front row at over 190 miles an hour. Fastest lap of Speedway.
Yeah, that's amazing. We didn't even think about running that fast in practice, but we knew we had a good car. Same car and motor they had here last year when they won the race, and I just kind of held it straight. Sandy Jones been teaching me all winter along with Jeff Green, just things about the speedways, and this just beat all expectations. I mean, this is great.
Gary, can you believe how talented your young drivers are? You got Jeff Green. You know what he can do. This young man's impressing you every day.
Oh, it's fantastic, Jerry. I've never had the kind of feeling I've got right now. With we thought we might have it the other way around with Jeff being up there, so we're floating on a cloud. Jeff just smiling too. That's pretty good for all of us. And
where does the sponsorship stand? You don't have a sponsor on either car, and both cars are extremely competitive.
Well, we think they're competitive, and we don't have anybody hooked up. Got some discussions going, Jerry, but we're very interested in talking with anybody that's serious about it. And I'd like to do this for Rick Hendrick, though. I mean, we're going to run the race without sponsors and let Rick know we're thinking about him.
All right, everyone's thinking about Rick. Let me ask you this, Elliott. For race day, what will you do between now and Saturday? Will you go to some guys and get some advice from guys who have been here before? Particularly, you're going to have about 41 cars behind you when the green drops.
I've been praying for help for the last 30 minutes to every drive I've been to, but Jeff Green and I are going to work good together, I think, tomorrow. We're just going to move around a little bit, let him pull for a while, let me lead for a while, just see how our cars react. And, of course, we'll get with Hermie some also. He's been coaching me nonstop for the last couple years now in racing, and hopefully he'll keep on doing it this week. But I just do want to mention about Gary and Diamond Ridge Motorsports. These folks are for real. They haven't taken any shortcuts, even though we have no sponsors, no shortcuts on equipment or personnel in the shop, and it's really showed here at Speed Weeks with one on the pole and 1 6.
Well, go enjoy the pole. You earned it.
Thank you.
Elliott Sadler and Gary Bechtel, the car owner and driver, that will lead them down on Saturday for the Gargoyles 300. Bob?
Boy, what a thrill for that young man, huh? Carl Horton is qualified 9th quick, 144.014 miles an hour. More Goody's dash cars to qualify in a minute. Checkered flag falls for Robert Luckadoo from Ellenboro, North Carolina, who has just completed his qualifying run. He ran 5 races in this series last year. He becomes our 10th qualifier. How'd he do?
He qualified in 2nd spot. Good run for Robert at 58.894, 152.817 miles per hour.
Jerry is with the driver who currently sits 4th in the qualifying order.
Well, CP3 they call you, Charles Powell the 3rd. You told me you've only run 2 races and you won one of them?
That's correct. We won one at Myrtle Beach and we broke a transmission the second one.
And you've had how many laps on the racetrack prior to qualifying?
I think my qualifying lap was my 9th lap on the racetrack. We had some bad luck. The motor broke and rain and all kinds of things happened.
Well, hey, you got to feel pretty good about being 4th thus far in qualifying.
Yeah, I'm 4th right now, but I don't think it'll last long. But we're just fortunate to be here. Our crew and I have worked a long time, 4 days to get this car ready to be in Daytona. So we're fortunate to be here. So we just hope for the best.
Well, hey, have a good race. We'll talk to you on Friday.
Thanks, sir.
CP3 currently 4th quickest, but as he said, there's a bucket full of cars yet to come.
And there's one of them.
And this is one of the most familiar names in this series.
Yes, it is.
Associate Will Hopgood with the Dash Series.
He also has a team car, his son, Jake Hopgood, both sponsored by Wins.
He was the 93 Dash Series Rookie of the Year, the 94 champion, the most popular driver in 94 and 95. Last year, he finished 3rd in points with 4 wins. He has been here 5 times, and he won this race in 1993, finished 2nd last year. So this is a top contender.
Yes, he is.
Car sponsored by Wins Oil Company.
If these young guys want to know how to get around Daytona, just follow Will around here. I'm sure he knows the way as well as anyone. And here he comes down for the checkered flag, complete his run, and see if he can do something about putting that car on the pole.
Robert Ham and
Will Hopgood. Robert Ham is the guy, but did Hopgood do any good?
Yay! New pole sitter.
55.185, 163.088 miles per hour, and he is 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds faster than Robert Ham. So very, very fast automobile, this number 65.
And Bill is with another familiar name and veteran of the series.
And that would be Mickey York. 27 wins in the Dash Series for you?
Yeah, we've been around a long time, Bill. We've had a lot of success. We've met a lot of good people through the years and really enjoyed it. You know, it's a lot of fun for us. It's still a family deal, and we really have a good time at it. So we're looking forward to winning this one, though. You know, it took Darrell Walter 17 years, and Dale and I, neither one have won our big race. So maybe Friday will be my day and Sunday can be Dale's day.
Well, how's it gone for you so far here?
Car's pretty decent. We've chased it a little bit, but we had a few things to do for qualifying, and hopefully it'll pick it up. I'd like to start in the top 8 or 10 if we could, and I think we can do that.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
That's Mickey York. He's definitely one of the leading veterans in the Goody's Dash Series, guys.
And there's something you seldom see in a NASCAR race.
What's that?
A Toyota.
Oh, yeah.
Japanese made automobile. This is Marty Houston. Number 3, the Duraglass Toyota.
And this kid runs at Hickory Speedway. He's in the limited sportsman and late model division. He was a late model rookie of the year in 1993 and was the limited sportsman rookie of the year in 1992, then won the sportsman championship in 92 also. So Marty Houston is on the track for his qualification run. Yeah, I wonder if this is a thing to come here. We know that NASCAR went over to Suzuka and ran on the road course over there and kind of became partners, or familiar at least, with the Japanese people. And this is the first Toyota I can ever remember Japanese brand car competing in NASCAR.
Did they used to have a Nissan?
Yeah, maybe they did.
Did they have
maybe
a Nissan?
You're right.
That ran this?
Yep.
I don't remember. It seemed like I remember something about that. Anyway, Marty Houston qualifies the Toyota 12th. He's got a lot of work to do. 63.213, average speed 142.376 miles per hour. So, yeah, those guys got to go back and go to work, try to find a little more speed.
Will Hopgood, the pole sitter at the moment, with a lap at 55.185 seconds as the number 3 car, the Duraglass Toyota, slows down, and the 07 car picks up speed. And this is one of the guys we talked with just a few minutes ago, George Crenshaw, who hails from Lakeland, Florida. And I love the sponsor on this car. It's Bad Frog Beer. Apparently it is a microbrewery out of Michigan, but it's distributed here in the Florida area. That's the time and speed he's shooting for.
This is a team car to Edward Howell. We saw qualify just a moment ago, and Edward Howell could not get up to speed. Can't George Crenshaw get the thing up to speed?
Jerry is with a guy who has found some speed and is on the pole right now.
Well, indeed, Bob. He won this race in 1993, finished second last year as a former series champion. Will Hopgood, you've given him something to shoot at, 163.088. Is that what you expected to run, or is that a little bit of a surprise?
Well, no, we've been running right around them numbers all day. I don't think it'll get the pole, Jerry, but the wind's all upon it run real good. You know, we hadn't really been quick all week down here, some of these other cars, but we got a little bit more to do to it. We just run out of time working on it.
5 poles last year. You're running the full year in 1997, looking for another title?
Yeah, that's what we're shooting for, you know, and try to get my son started in it, too, so we're going to go after it.
As a veteran here, how do the changes this year in the cars affect the car on the racetrack? Are they more comfortable to drive with the bigger tires, the taller wheels, and the cars being a little higher off the ground?
Yeah, they're a lot more comfortable to drive, but I think where it's really going to show up is on the short tracks. When we get to the short tracks, I think our corner speeds are going to be a lot better, and the cars will recover a lot better with these bigger tires.
Well, Will, maybe you'll hang on to a top 4 or 5 start anyway. Good luck to you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Jerry.
Will Hopgood won it in 93 and finished second a year ago. Bob?
And George Crenshaw is second quick, BP.
Yes, he did. 57.684, average speed 156.022 miles per hour. So put Crenshaw in the second spot. And Jerry touched on something there that we'll talk about Friday more in depth, but these cars are now running the 15-inch tires, the racing tires, exactly like they run on the Saturday night cars all around the country, which means that this year these cars can have an inner liner. That's something they have not had here before. They've always ran the tubeless tire. Jerry Punch probably has more down in the pits.
Well, Benny, that's exactly right. Not only does the 15-inch wheel put about 17% more rubber on the racetrack, and as you heard Will Hobgood say, that means the cars will be a lot more easy to handle more on the super speedways. But you hit the nail on the head, BP. It's the interliner. They didn't have interliners before on the 13-inch tires and wheels, so that last year during this race, when we saw a guy cut a tire, I believe it was Jimmy Foster, who actually cut a tire, and the wheel dug into the pavement. His car got airborne very abruptly. And that's what the interliner will prevent. If you cut a tire now, remember these are bias ply tires, you'll have the interliner to keep the car up off the ground, and that is a huge, huge safety factor for these subcompact cars.
Gary Moore from Horseshoe, North Carolina is on the racetrack in the Five Brothers Produce Pontiac. Gary had 13 starts in the series last year, had a couple of top 5 and 7 top 10 finishes, and he also finished 10th in this race a year ago. From Gem Motorsports.
Pontiac seems to be the car of choice for most of these dash drivers, the Goody's dash drivers. You look at the nose of the car and tell just very, very aerodynamic in the nose of the car.
Will Hobgood, the pole sitter at the moment, is 2.5 seconds faster than second place, and the checkered flag drops on Gary Moore, and he becomes our 14th qualifier of the afternoon. And his speed was?
He's 7th right now at 59.587. Average speed for Gary Moore was 151.040.
A lot more cars to qualify. Stay with us. We'll have more Goody's Dash qualifying right after this. At Daytona, Danny Bagwell completes his qualifying run. He finished 20th in this race last year, finished 4th in points in 1996 in this series. How'd he do qualifying?
Pretty good. He's in 2nd spot outside pole so far, 56.710. Average speed, as you see, 158.702 miles per hour.
15 drivers have qualified for Friday's race. And we're going to show you the complete rundown here as the number 6 car of Dave Stacy takes to the racetrack. There is the rundown on the top 15.
There we see Will Hobgood, Bagwell, Crenshaw, Ham, Luckadoo, that's top 5. Brewer, Powell, Moore, Heightshouse, Jenkins, top 10. Myers, Howell, Wellman, Fortin, Houston. That's the 15 cars that have qualified so far. As I said, folks, the Pontiac seems to be the car of choice. Look at the right side. Do you disagree with that?
Nah, I certainly do not. Dave Stacy here at another Ford. This is the Hobart Welding Products Ford. He is from Enon, Ohio, which is near Springfield, Ohio. And this is the guy who we will always remember for, although he would probably rather we remember him for other things, like his one win last year at Nashville. But this is the guy that went to Lake Lloyd a few years ago during practice, I believe it was. Car went completely into the lake over on the backstretch. Now they have taken steps so that can't happen again. So he may be the last one to have done that.
Yeah, probably will be the last one. I don't remember. They when that happened, they told who was the first guy to do it. So I guess that would be trivia one of these days. The first and last guy to get in Lake Lloyd.
George Crenshaw is 3rd quick, and Jerry is talking to him.
Well, George, you win the award for most colorful race car. What's that, Bad Frog? What's a Bad Frog?
They're a micro brewery up in Michigan. They're just getting started. They're not a real big company, but I guess they're big enough to be here.
All right, they're big enough to be in the front 2 rows. The 3rd quickest. You got something else for Friday?
I hope so. It seems like after this morning, after we practiced it, everything we did the car wouldn't change it any. So I guess we're 3rd quickest right now. That'll probably be good for the top 15. It'll probably lock us in, you know, for a spot for Friday. But I wish we could have been a little quicker.
All right, let that Bad Frog rest a while. We'll talk to you on Friday.
Thank you very much.
Bob?
Dave Stacy currently 5th fastest. Yeah, it says here on his bio, BP, he was the 3rd driver to land in Lake Lloyd, and also grew up running in the Midwest around his hometown of Enon, Ohio. Raced at Killcare Speedway. I bet you raced there, didn't you?
Never did.
Never did?
No, sure didn't. You see his speed, 153.158 miles per hour.
Well, here's the veteran that we talked with a few minutes ago, Mickey York, on the racetrack. 27 career wins for this young man, 3rd on the all-time list. And he is trying to become the 17th qualifier of the afternoon. His best finish in a Daytona 200, 5th in 1984. He was 16th last year after starting in 6th position.
That's a Pontiac, but that's not the same nose on the Pontiacs I've been seeing. A different one.
This is the Cobra Electronics Pontiac. Mickey last year had a pole, no wins, 3 top 5s, and 10 top 10 finishes. Races at Caraway Speedway, at least he did. That's where he started back in 1971.
He's from Asheboro, North Carolina, which where the Caraway Speedway is located. Been around a long, long time, and Cobra Electronics has been his sponsor, I guess, the whole time he's been in the Goodies Dash Series.
Yep. There's the time and the speed to beat. Will Hobgood has set the mark at 163.088 miles an hour. And like I say, that is well over, well, not anymore, I guess. Yeah, it is. Well, more than a second faster than anybody else.
Yes, it is. Second and a half faster than anyone else.
Checkered flag drops for Mickey York. And the time and speed report.
He is second on the outside pole, 56.191. Average speed, 160.168. 160.168. So Mickey York on the outside pole.
Bill Weber is with Donnie Duchesne, who's going to qualify before long.
Hey, Benny, you remember Donnie Duchesne, don't you, from last year? Started 36th and came through the field, finished 6th.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Benny remembers you, so do we. He had a good run here a year ago.
I know, he kept calling me Danny. I had to keep working on him how to pronounce the first name, Donnie, instead.
See, you need to send him like a cake with your name on it so he can remember things like that.
Well, we were up at Bristol, and my wife said that we could make a sandwich for him, and I guess he likes that chicken and the heavier stuff. We couldn't come up with but a sandwich for him.
How's your car running?
About mid-pack. You know, it's about the best we all going to do with the kind of money and the motor we got. So, you know, it doesn't matter where you start, I guess. It's just where you finish at.
You ran about 11 of these last year, and you had a pretty good finish in the points.
Yeah, we were running 5th in the points, and matter of fact, we were leading the most laps completed until we broke our first motor at Bristol. We were going for that $3,000 bonus at Bristol, and first DNF that we had, but that's about the best we could do with the money we had to work with.
Okay, 6th last year, maybe better one this year. Good luck, Donnie.
Thank you.
Hey, BP?
What?
Donnie. Got it?
Donnie Duchesne. I knew that. I just got my O's and A's mixed up.
Well, his dad is on the pole. We'll see what Jake Hobgood can do, whether his son can knock him off. Jake, as Will told you, just getting started in this series. He had 6 starts last year and 1 top 10 finish. He was the dash rookie last year, started 5th in last year's race here at Daytona, and ended up 41st.
21-year-old young man. We'll see what kind of equipment the old man is giving him.
Yeah.
We'll see what his father was able to do, 163.088 miles per hour.
Jake carrying the same sponsorship as his dad, the Winds Oil Company. It's a Pontiac, and the run is over for the young Mr. Hobgood.
Probably wouldn't be good to beat Papa.
No, probably not, no.
Probably not good.
And he didn't. He came out 4th quick, 158.504, a time of 56.781 seconds.
I think that was a good move, Jake.
Yep.
So 18 cars have qualified so far.
Down to Jerry Punch.
Well, Danny Bagwell, you put a Ford in the second row, 3rd quickest now overall. And a good-looking car says Hollywood on the side. Is that describing you?
No, Jerry, this Hollywood sign's a friend of mine. Is helping us out a little bit. We're a little bit short on sponsors here. We also got Prime Star as a associate sponsor this year, so you know it's kind of tough without all the backing that you need, but hopefully we'll be there at the end of the race.
You gonna turn your luck around at Daytona finally?
I don't know, man. It's been tough here. I think 15th is about the best we've ever finished. We've had a lot of motor trouble this week. We've been through 2 engines. We got a fairly decent car thanks to Virginia Race Cars up in Richmond, but other than that, we're struggling.
All right, good luck to you, Danny.
Thank you.
All right, Bob.
And on the racetrack is Brian Sockwell, who graduates from the Legends division. He was the 1994 Legends National Champion. How about that? Before that, he was driving go-karts. and now is in the Dash Series. He finished 3rd in the Rookie of the Year competition last year, 15th in points in the series, and had 8 top 10s.
This is from Brown Summit, North Carolina. I wonder if that's up around Lenore. There's a Brown Mountain up there.
This is the Sockwell Racing Pontiac. 18 cars currently have qualified.
Buffett process is going to start in a couple of cars.
That's right.
There's the time to beat, 163.088 miles per hour. Here comes Sockwell and takes the checkered flag. Where did he end up?
He ended up second. Ooh, not bad.
56.186 average speed, 160.162 miles per hour.
By 1/1000th of a second, he is second fastest. How about that? We'll be back with more qualifying of the Goody Dash Series in a moment. Welcome back to Daytona, and like I said, Brian Sockwell's qualifying time was a second and 1/1000th slower than the pole sitter. Now, let's take you back to 1994. I thought it was more than that, and I didn't realize also it was during the race, but this is what happened to Dave Stacy in the Florida 200.
I think that's David Hutto in the 97. We see that Stacy missed the wall up there, hits the dirt bank, goes over it, flips, and splash in Lake Lloyd.
Kersplat. And the good news was that this is what happened moments later. Old Dave came climbing out of that thing in good shape, and it took a while for them to fish that car out of Lake Lloyd. That was back in 1994. Well, Jerry, how do you like that swim?
Well, the guy who put the splash back in Dash racing at Daytona, Dave Stacy, you're more known for being in Lake Lloyd than anything else. You need to change that image a little bit.
Yeah, we sure would like to bring us Hobart Ford home to a win here, you know. Do the other famous thing here at Daytona, you know, that would be really neat.
Well, you're currently 9th quickest. Did you expect to run that well?
We've struggled with speed all, you know, we've only had one practice session because of the rain yesterday and everything, so we always get it together by race time. We've always walked away with good top 10 finishes here, and hopefully it'll be a good top 5 finish.
All right, have a good run Friday and stay out of the water.
Thank you much. We'll be looking forward to seeing you in Victory Lane.
All right, Dave Stacy, guys, he wants to be able to stay dry all day on Friday.
And the number 93 car of Ernie Yarborough is on the racetrack. This is Cale's nephew, I guess, huh?
And Scott Weaver just completed his qualifying run in the 2 car and heated up 7th. His speed was 155.612 miles per hour. There's Scott Weaver's car that, thank God, the motor lasted for a lap. Well, they're all talking. They're asking, is the motor okay? Because he has lost 2 engines in that car.
Let's take a look at the top 20 as they stand right now. There are the top 15. Will Hobgood tops the list with Brian Sockwell in 2nd, Dave Stacy in 9th position, and Shane in 15th. Now here's 16 through 20.
See the Myers, Howell, Wellman, Horton, and Houston. So Houston right now is on the bubble. Slowest car, 142.376. Time to beat to get in the race.
Ernie Yarborough, who races in Florence, South Carolina, has only been driving since '94. Takes the checkered flag and qualifies a car owned by Maxie Bush, and his speed and time is 11th fastest, 59.145, 152.168. And so the first car is bumped, and that would be the number 3 machine of Marty Houston, the Toyota. Down to Jerry with Mickey York, who's 3rd quick.
Well, Mickey's been a part of this series for 22 years, starting back in 1976, former series champion, 3-time most popular driver, one of the most popular guys here, and now you're 3rd quickest. Maybe that Daytona jinx is over.
I sure would like to have it be over. You know, we haven't had a whole lot of success at Daytona, but maybe this will be the year. Everything's working real good. The car's running good, and the guys are working good together, and you know, I need one and Dale needs one. Maybe I can get one on Friday and he can get one on Sunday.
I guarantee you, if the drivers in this series were asked if they couldn't win it, everybody would want to see you go to Victory Lane. Good luck to you on Friday.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Appreciate it.
Bob?
Donnie Duchesne is on the racetrack. He started 6th, or rather finished 6th in last year's race after starting in the 36th position. Bill talked with him a few minutes ago about his drive through the pack last year here at Daytona. He's a veteran of go-karts and modifieds. Ray even ran some sprint cars in the division. He was 17th in points in 1996.
Good-looking young man is Danny.
Yeah. Donnie. Darn it.
Maybe he's taping this back home. 62.494. There's the bubble speed. 62.494. 144.014. And that's Carl Horton and Will Hobgood, the pole winner so far. Provisional pole, 163.088 miles per hour.
This is our 22nd car to qualify, and 51, I believe, drew for a qualification attempt, so we're not halfway through yet. And here comes Donnie Duchesne toward the checkered flag that will hopefully put him in the starting lineup for next Friday's event. And the time and speed report, 14th fastest for Donnie, 59.463, and the speed 151.355 miles an hour. So Carl Horton is bumped, and that puts on the bubble car number 31, driven by Claude Wellman. More qualifying after this break. Welcome back to Daytona, where Indiana driver Brian Ross from Plymouth, Indiana, has just qualified 8th fastest at 57.871, 155.518.
Too bad he wasn't driving an Auburn from Auburn, Indiana. You can say Indiana one more time.
He, by the way, raced last year at the Winchester, Indiana Speedway, so there it is. Okay, on the track right now is the number 63 machine driven by Paul Carr from up in Pensacola, Florida, the M&D Foreign Car Parts Pontiac.
So right now the 70 car Edward Howell is on the bubble.
And Jerry Punch is with the driver, who is still second quick at this point, Brian Sockwell.
Well, Brian, go-karts to Legends cars to now a super speedway. Your first attempt to qualify on a big track. What are the emotions?
It's been a long day, I know that much. I wish it had been a lot shorter, but it's fun. I really enjoyed it.
Are you scared at all? Any butterflies prior to going out to qualify?
Yeah, we got a little bit today. Usually I don't get too nervous, but as far as going out and qualifying, but we had to change the cars a lot right before we went out, and I really didn't know what I had, and we ended up slowing the car down a little bit, but it was something we had to do. And but this is the first time we come down here and test. It was real fast, and the head might a little swell a little bit, made me feel a whole lot better. We come down here, and we was pretty fast here, and everybody kept pointing at me and saying, "Oh, you're pretty good, pretty fast." So might have had a chance at the pole, but we slowed the car down, so maybe we'll have a better car for the race.
All right, Brian Sockwell, his crew down here is a couple of other Legends drivers that he normally competes against. They all got together and came down to help him to watch him make the step in the Goody's Dash. Let's check in with Bill.
With a familiar face, Dennis Setzer, you're in the 97 car. You were supposed to go out first. What happened?
Well, we had some trouble through the tech line right there. We were a little light. Had to do a few other little things right there, but it looks like the Joiner Racing car is pretty well in good shape now. We'll go out and make us a little run, see how things go.
So what's your plan? Is this a one-race deal for you, or what's going on over here?
Probably so. You know, I like to race in anything on off weekends, so got a chance to run a dash car down here, and I like doing any kind of racing. So, you know, we'll do this and maybe a few more races in the dash at the big tracks this year. And, you know, get hopefully some bush rides and some truck rides and just have a big time and a lot of different things.
How were your practice times?
We were pretty decent. We were like 10th, 12th quickest all during the practice in this series, and I think the car will be okay. We get a little more work. We really haven't had a lot of time on the track. We've been kind of a little behind trying to catch up and bite the bullet, but I think we'll be okay when the bell rings.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Dennis Setzer has been a winner on the Busch Series, driving a dash car here at Daytona in 1997.
Right now, Edward Howell has been bumped from the field, and Davis Myers in the 20 car is on the bubble, and the green flag is out for David Amick. And folks, this ought to be an awfully good lap. This is the older brother of last year's champion, Lyndon Amick. Lyndon moved on to the NASCAR Busch National Series, and David is going to run some, I get some dash races this year. There's the time to beat for the pole, 163.088. The time to get in today's qualifying, 148.994 miles per hour.
Well, we're glad to see that David got an education before he started racing full-time. He's a graduate of Clemson University back in '91, started racing in '93, and has run at Bristol and Volusia County and at Myrtle Beach. So David Amick is trying to follow in the footsteps of his younger brother, right?
Yes,
Lyndon is younger.
Lyndon is the youngest of the two. I think David's probably 25 or 26 years old.
Checkered flag, and we have another qualifier in the field.
Actually, he's 28 years old.
David Amy, whoa, he did real well.
Second, average speed, time in seconds, 55.874. Average speed, 161.077. So put him on the outside pole so far. That will bump Davis Myers, and now the 85 car of Shane Jenkins of the Jenkins Racing family is on the bubble.
Okay. He's the only other driver besides Will Hobgood to qualify in the 55-second bracket. And coming out onto the track right now is car number 5, and that is driven by Ricky Bryant.
Racing USA, it says. I think it says on the quarter panel of that car.
Finished 36th in points last year, only participated in 5 races and had 1 top 10 finish. He did race here last year. In this race, he finished in 23rd position. He was the ARCA Pro 4 champion and Rookie of the Year and Mechanic of the Year in 1996. So he spent most of his time in the Pro 4 division at ARCA. And in addition to being a race driver, he also is a shooter. Or is it a shootist? Anyway, in 1989, he was the North Carolina Senior Shooting Champion, National Archery Champion. How about that?
Seniors. Here's the qualifying so far. Will Hobgood on the pole so far. In the 20th spot is the bubble. We see Jenkins in 85 there. 21 through 25 has been bumped. They'll have to come back tomorrow, try to find some speed to get faster. 40 cars qualify for the Discount Auto Parts 200 miles on Friday morning, 11 a.m., right?
That is correct. Okay, Ricky Bryant down off the banking onto the tri-oval, a young man who will be competing for Rookie of the Year in the 1997 Goody's Dash Series. Checkered flag drops. The afternoon shadows have stretched across the tri-oval here in front of us. And the 26th qualifier of the day clocks in at, as we await the time and speed report on Ricky Bryant, he is 8th fastest on the qualifying session, 57.363 seconds, and his speed 156.896 miles an hour.
So Shane Jenkins has been bumped, and now on the bubble is Dave Heithouse in the 18 car.
There is Lake Lloyd, and you can see they have built up a wall and a catch fence so as to prevent something like Dave Stacy experience from ever happening again here at Daytona. Back at Daytona, where Dennis Setzer has just become the 27th qualifier of the afternoon.
He is not. Oh, the 27th qualifier. He qualified 10th.
Yes.
You had me confused there for a second. Speed, 57.818. Average speed in miles per hour, 155.661 miles per hour. Puts him in 10th. Now, Heithouse has been bumped, and the 99 car of Gary Moore is now on the bubble.
And here on the deuce, Sunday night at 10 o'clock, a 10-round super lightweight bout. Juan John Molina, who is 44-0 with 27 KOs, will be taking on Israel Pito Cardona, who is undefeated in 24 bouts. He has 18 KOs. That ought to be a good bout. Sunday night at 10 o'clock Eastern, ESPN2 Boxing.
That sounds like a great bout.
Sure does.
44-0.
That'll be after the Daytona 500 has been run, and we can kick back a little bit and relax and watch some boxing on the television.
There's Monk Gullidge out of Batesburg, South Carolina, in a Chevrolet, the Love Chevrolet. This car is owned by Haskell Willingham.
Yep, he's the crew chief, the owner, and the engine builder.
And he drove for Marion Cox, back in the 70s, did Haskell, and back on the dirt tracks in South Carolina.
And Jerry Punch is with Junior Miller.
Actually, we're with David and Lyndon Amick, Bob, the Amick brothers. And David is, of course, the guy who just qualified this car second fastest. And David, 55.874, 161.077. Pretty doggone good lap.
Pretty good so far. I tell you, Richard Mash and Lyndon and the whole crew have been working really hard, and they make this the driving job real easy. And I think we got a real good race set up, and I think we'll be real good for the race. So.
Let's ask your younger brother here. Now, he's the younger one, but David says that David's a better looking one. Let's ask you. You won this race a year ago, and you're the defending champion. How did he do? Give him a grade.
He got an A+. I'm proud of him. You know, anytime you come out here and be in the top 5, I think that's pretty good.
Now, what do you tell him about race day? You teach him a little about drafting?
Yeah, I'm going to teach him a little bit. I'm going to be spotting for him, so I'm going to get him there to the front. He'll be leading this thing before the race is over.
Will you listen to your brother on the radio? I mean, brothers never listen to brother.
I tell everybody that he's my younger brother, maybe on the golf course or something like that, but when we come out here to the racetrack, he's like my older brother, so he knows a little bit more about it than I do right now.
All right, the brothers Amick, they will team up on Friday for this 200-miler.
And Monk Gullidge has clocked in 13th quickest on the qualifying session, 57.894. His speed, 155.457. And now who's on the bubble?
The Monk Gullidge car, by the way, is sponsored by Love Chevrolet down in Columbia, South Carolina. And the bubble is the 74 car of Donnie Duchesne.
Okay. And here is the next qualifier to try to bump him off and get in the field. Roger Moser. Coming from, let's see, he's from Missouri, isn't he?
Yes,
Auxvass, Missouri, in the Chester Fried Chicken Pontiac. More food, huh?
Yeah, anyway.
Now, we have Jerry with, or rather Bill, with Junior Miller.
Hey, Junior, I thought you were a modified guy. What are you doing over here?
We come down here to run with these boys in the off season, and bad weather back home. We come down here to run as hard as we can, see what happens.
Now, you didn't have very good luck here a year ago, did you?
We was running pretty good, but the engine blew up about 20 laps into the race, so we hope we can run all day this time.
Now, you won the modified race at North Wilkesboro last spring, didn't you?
Yeah, we won at North Wilkesboro the last spring race up there, and we won about, I guess, 9 or 10 races last year.
So how you running today?
It's a brand new car, and we got to run about 6 laps of practice on. We're getting it up to speed. Maybe by race day we'll have it, maybe get up there with, be able to draft with them. We're a little bit off the pace right now.
Okay, well, good luck.
Thank you a lot.
On the racetrack is Roger Moser, who was the track champion in 1992 in dirt modifieds at Capitol Speedway in Missouri. He finished 24th in last year's 200 here at Daytona. Checkered flag is out.
And Roger, what did he do? There we go. He is now 23rd. Did not quite crack the top 20. 60.207 seconds. Average speed, 149.484 miles per hour.
And so Donnie Duchesne remains on the bubble here with NASCAR Goodies Dash qualifying. Back at Daytona, the checkered flag just comes out for Pat Patterson, who finished 21st in the points in the series last year. And his is the 15th fastest of the day, 58.419, 154.059 miles an hour. Lots of coverage coming up tomorrow here on ESPN2. We hope you will make us a part of your afternoon viewing as we have more activity from Speed Weeks 1997. Second round NASCAR Busch and Dash qualifying, and then we'll round out the afternoon with practice for the Winston Cup, Busch, Dash, and IROC series. It all starts at 1 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow here on The Deuce. Bill Weber has an update on Chris Trickle.
Well, Bob, as you mentioned, we do have an update on Chris Trickle, and there have been some unfounded rumors, I guess, circulating throughout the racing world, as it has a tendency to happen. Chris is on life support in Las Vegas, and there were some reports earlier today that life support system had been turned off, and that is not the case. In fact, Chris underwent surgery today in Las Vegas, a surgery that was reported and told to our RPM Tonight staff that went quite well. And while his outlook certainly is still grim at best, there is at least a little more optimistic report from Las Vegas that hopefully his situation will improve. But Chris Trickle did have surgery this afternoon in Las Vegas, and the outlook at this point a little bit more optimistic than it has been. But there is no truth to the reports that had been circulating throughout the track earlier that the life support systems had been turned off. So again, our prayers and wishes are with his family and of course with Dick here at the track.
Thank you, Bill, for the update.
This car ran 164 miles per hour in practice this morning.
No kidding.
Yes.
This is Daryl Murray, by the way, from Fort Lawn, South Carolina. Qualified 27th for the race last year and finished in 7th position. He does have a win in the series, and he was the 1995 NASCAR Goodies Dash Rookie of the Year. Daryl Murray coming around for the checkered flag.
And it's a Ford. It's not a Pontiac, it's a Ford, and here he comes. Can he duplicate this morning's run, or was that in a draft? Drafting means so much to these cars as well as any car here.
Second quick, BP. Second quick. 55, 670, 161.667 for Daryl Murray. So he's second quick at the moment. Wow.
So Donnie Duchesne has been bumped. Now the Charles Powell car has been bumped. And currently the 44 car of Doc Brewer is on the bubble.
And Bill Weber is with Mike Swaim Jr., who will be going out before too long.
And Mike, how's your car running? Dad was in it yesterday for a little while.
Yeah, we were really quick this morning. You know, we got some drafting help this morning. I ran down into 5440s, but you know, on single qualifying laps, we were around 55 flat. So I'll predict a couple of tenths faster than that. I'll be real pleased if we get that. If we don't, I'll be a little disappointed. But got to thank Jan Smith, my engine builder, and Barry Owen for putting the body on the car. My guys have really just worked their butt off for this car to be this fast. They really have. Changed a lot of stuff from testing. And I think we'll be good.
Now, usually it's the son asking the dad for the keys to the car. What was the old man doing in this ride yesterday?
Well, he just shook it down. About all he did for me, and just make sure everything's all right. He's got a lot more experience and more success than I do here. So this makes me feel a lot better. I know we got a good car. Just hope we can go out there and put it on the pole.
What's the toughest part of this track for these cars?
I haven't found nothing really intimidating about it so far in a dash car. A bigger car may be a different story. The tri-oval, when you're drafting real tight, gets a little hairy sometimes, but other than that, everything's pretty stable, especially with these bigger tires.
Good luck.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, on the racetrack is Michael Cogdell from Shelby, North Carolina, car number 91. This is the Carolina Coil Young RVs Ford. Michael finished 32nd in series points last year, had 5 starts and 1 top 10 finish.
Doc Brewer on the bubble. Time to beat 59.253. The time to beat for the pole, Will Hobgood, 55.185. Cogdell coming off turn 4, down for the checkered flag, completing this qualifying run.
This guy runs at Cherokee Speedway. You familiar with that?
Yeah, it's down around Gaffney, South Carolina. Between
that's exactly right.
Spartanburg and Charlotte.
And ran in the modified 4-cylinder dirt track competition there. Let's see what he does on the big paved oval. Michael, 30th fastest.
Yeah, 61.109. Average speed 147.278 miles per hour.
Jerry Punch is with the driver's second fastest so far.
Well, Darryl, we were wondering whether you'd back up that speed this morning where you ran awfully quick, almost 163, and you're pretty close. 161.667 puts you second fastest thus far in qualifying.
Yeah, that's kind of disappointing. We run a pretty good lap this morning. We tried to stay away from everybody this morning, tried to stay out of the draft and everything, and I don't know what happened. The car felt real good and everything, but I think everybody maybe slowed down a little bit. We just have to wait and see. Got a few more fast ones to go out there and just kind of wait and see what they do.
How well do these cars draft? You had some time practicing this morning. They look like they stick together pretty well.
Yeah, my car, it does pretty good in the draft. It's real stable. It don't do a whole lot of bouncing around or anything. It's pretty stable.
All right, good luck to you on Friday, Darryl.
Thank you.
Former Rookie of the Year and a former top 10 finisher here right now, second fastest.
A rundown of what's happened so far in qualifying. Will Hopgood tops the list.
And there's Murray that we just talked to. David Amick, Sockwell, York, and Ham is in the 15th spot. Now we'll go back and look at 16 through 30. That was cute. There we go. Pat Patterson is in 16th spot. We see Doc Brewer in 20th. That is the bubble position. All these other cars have to stand on this time or come back tomorrow and requalify. And there's Jenkins down in 26th spot. Cogwell disqualified is 30th, and there's the other two cars that qualified. Marty Houston in the Toyota still 32nd.
And on the racetrack is the young man from Minnesota that we talked with not too long ago, Christian Elder from Minneapolis in the Dave Watson Racing Pontiac Sunfire. He's been running NASCAR Pro 4 Modifieds and was the Minnesota track champion in 1995. So let's see what he does here at Daytona. The checkered flag has fallen. Christian Elder.
He was in the top 10 in practice this morning. Let's see if he can crack the top 10 in qualifying. Not running in the car. The car did not do very well for Christian. 29th, 60.724, 148.212 miles per hour.
We'll be back with more. Qualifying will finish it up. The Dash Series here at Daytona in just a moment. B.J. Mackey about to complete his qualifying run. We'll check on that in just a moment. Let us first remind you about the NASCAR website, www.nascar.com. We'll get you in touch with the information you want to know concerning NASCAR racing. If you're dialed in there right now, you'll get all the up-to-minute qualifying information that we here at the Speedway are receiving. Plus, you can get information on all 12 of NASCAR's divisions. NASCAR Online.
B.J. Mackey will be disappointed with his time. It's 21st, 59.258 seconds, average speed 151.878 miles per hour. B.J., remember he ran at Bristol, ran second a couple of years ago.
Here is Junior Miller, car number 69. We talked with him not too long ago down in the pit area. He finished 20th in 1996 points, participated in 11 races, and had 4 top 10s.
And Junior Miller has run a Winston Cup car in his career before. He ran back in the early 80s, ran the Winston Cup car.
Down to Bill Weber.
With Robert Hoffman, who was second in points last year and 3 wins in the Dash Series, right?
Yeah, you know, we had a good year last year with the White House Apple Juice Pontiac, and we're really looking forward to getting started off to a good season. Hopefully we can start out a little better here than we did last year. Come away with about a 33rd place finish, and you know, it was just hard for us to ever recover from that. If you can come away from here with a top 5 or 10 finish, you're usually set pretty good for a season.
Yeah, but you've been close here to victory lane before, huh?
Yeah, we've come pretty close. We've run second twice, not in my own car, but in John Page's car. And you know, I think this is probably the best shot I've had at winning a race down here, so we're really looking forward to Friday.
You told me your practice times are okay, but you'd settle for a spot in the top 10.
Yeah, we run, you know, we were 5th quickest this morning in the practice, but you know, if I could start in the top 10, that would be better than I've ever started. Our best starting position is 12th, and you know, that really means a lot because a lot of the quicker guys are up front, and you tend to lose the draft pretty quick.
Yeah, you also can get caught in some of that traffic if you're not too close to the front.
Yeah, you know, this division, there's usually a little more speed difference from 1st to 10th than it is like the Busch or the Winston Cup. That's because there's not the experience and the money here that there is there. And, you know, it does make it a little tougher trying to get to the front.
You got a lot of experience on the Charlotte track, don't you?
Yeah, you know, we run all the sportsman races, and I've run Hickory ever since I started, and we're really looking forward to going back there. The series is going back to Charlotte this year, night of the Indy Racing League qualifying, and I'm really looking forward to that.
All right, good luck this year.
Thanks.
Junior Miller did not break the top 20. He's 23rd quickest, a 59.391 second lap, 151.538. For those of you who have tuned in for Shop Talk, you will see it in its entirety at the conclusion of our coverage of Dash qualifying. We're not going to leave you hanging. We've still got about 12 more cars to qualify, so we'll complete that, and then you can see Shop Talk in its entirety. For right now, we take a short break. Eric Wilson from Taylorsville, North Carolina, has just concluded his qualifying run. He began racing in Texas back in 1986. And what did he do?
18th, 58.779, 153.116. Doc Brewer has now been bumped from the lineup, and the 93 car of Ernie Yarborough on the bubble.
And Doc Punch is with Christian Elder.
And one of the surprises of qualifying this morning, Christian Elder was third quickest in practice. And Christian, obviously the car did not sound up to speed. Is there a problem with the engine?
I think we dropped a valve or broke a valve spring down the back straightaway. It was running real good all morning in practice, and it's just one of those things that gets thrown at you.
But the good part is you're driving for David Watson, who's sort of a legend in dash companies. He's won 4 championships with his drivers and lots of races down here at Daytona, so you know they'll get it fixed for race day.
Oh, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be strong. We'll be ready for the race on Friday.
All right, watch for that Christian Elder car, number 21 of David Watson. Watson is a legend in this series, folks. He's sort of like a Richard Childress when it comes to Winston Cup. His drivers always run in the top 5.
Ernie Yarborough continues on the pole, on the bubble, I should say, as the 55 car of Steve Barnes tries to knock him off. Steve Barnes, 17th in this race in 1996. He finished 38th in the series last year, participating in just 4 races. He's one of those that had an engine change recently.
There's the qualifying rundown as they stand so far. Will Hobgood still on the pole. Average the time to beat 163.088 miles per hour. And then we see Mary Amick, Sockwell, York, Bagwell. Jake Hobgood, his son, is in 7th spot. Carr, Bryant, Crenshaw, Setzer, Weaver, Ross, Gullidge, and Ham. That's the top 15. Pat Patterson, Stacy, Wilson, Luckadoo, Yarborough. That is the 20 cars that have qualified so far. All the rest of these cars will have to either use this time or come back tomorrow and try to beat this time. There's the 30 cars that have qualified so far.
And the final page showing you that the slowest is Andy Houston at 142.376 in the Toyota.
Steve Barnes completes his qualifying run. And we'll see what he can do. He did not do very well. He's currently 35th, 61.507 average speed, 146.325. We see a bunch of water coming out the back of that car.
Yep. And so next up to try to get into the field after Steve Barnes' 146.325 will be James Dent, driving car number 8. He's nicknamed the Outlaw, we understand, and has been racing since 1991. He began in the Pro Truck Pulling Series, the NTPA, and has also run some Winston Racing Series events and Miniature Motorsports Racing Association.
What did they say his nickname was? The Outlaw?
The Outlaw, yep.
I don't know what that's all about.
He is from Hinesville, Georgia. And his car is the Coastal Auto Snap-on Pontiac.
Here he comes down and taking the green flag. Time to beat to make it in the show is 59.145. That's Ernie Yarborough. Will Hobgood on the pole, 55.185. So, James, if you want to get on the pole, there's what time you have to beat. If you want to get in the race, there's the time you got to beat.
For those of you who are just joining us, earlier today, Elliott Sadler stole the pole position for Saturday's Busch Grand National race. And before that, Lake Speed was the fastest second-day qualifier in Winston Cup.
Elliott Sadler didn't steal the pole for the Busch race. He earned it.
Well, he certainly did earn it, but I think there were probably people thinking that several before him would win the pole. How's that?
And folks, 190.5 miles per hour Elliott Sadler ran in today's pole qualifying for the NASCAR Busch Series.
Faster than the Winston Cup. Once again, we remind you that Shop Talk, which is supposed to be on at this time, will be seen in its entirety as soon as we qualify the remainder of the field here in the Goody's Dash Series. All right, James Dent, how do you do?
He did good. 10th spot so far, 57.572 average speed, 156.326 miles per hour, and that puts him in 10th spot. And Ernie Yarborough has been bumped from the field, and Robert Luckadoo is now on the bubble.
Yes, indeed. We have 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got about 10 more cars to qualify. And the next on the racetrack is Greg Dodgens from Easley, South Carolina, in a 1997 Pontiac Sunfire. Been racing at Greenville Pickens in the late model and super stock division since 1981. Also has run at Riverside Speedway in the modified 4-cylinder and limited late model division. He was the Peach State Speedway state champion and was the 1996 track champion in super stock at Greenville Pickens. There's the pole and bubble speeds that Mr. Dodgens is shooting for.
We see there's about 3 3/4 seconds difference between first and 20th spot. And these cars ought to be able to draft very well. Friday's race promises to be a pretty doggone good show. I was very impressed with the dash shows that I've seen here in Daytona.
Yeah, I think we televised for the first time last year, and it was a very, very good race, a lot of fun, and I'm sure Friday's event will be equally as entertaining. Bill Weber has an interview with us with Larry Caudle.
And Larry, you've won this race 3 times, huh?
Yeah, I don't want to forget those. I'll tell you, winning at Daytona is as important to us as winning a championship, because very, very few people that race in America have opportunity to go in victory lane in Daytona, and it's a time you'll never forget.
And 5 times you've been runner-up for the series championship, right?
That's right, bridesmaid. We were fortunate to win a championship in '87 and '88, and '94 and '95 the car broke with less than 15 laps and less than 5 laps to go, and we're back again.
Okay, so how are you going to do this year?
Well, it's a new team, a team I drove for in '93. We just got back together, and Husqvarna's jumped on the car for Daytona. We're not certain what's going to happen after this, but we're going after another championship. It's just we're kind of behind the 8 ball. The car's not built for Speedway quite like it needs to be, but if we get a good qualifying position, stay out of trouble, hopefully I'll be around then, and you never know, maybe back in victory lane.
All right, we'll look for you. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Greg Dodgens qualifies 28th, 60.012. You saw the graphic, 149.970. That was good for 28th spot.
We have some TV people that are participating in the Dash Series. Pat Patterson, former host of Race Day, earlier qualified, and now we have Bill Hennessy, who works in radio and television, has been around, in fact, in racing for many, many years as a broadcaster, but he's also a race driver.
Works for the Performance Racing Network in Charlotte, at the Charlotte races, and I guess this year Texas, and also the Atlanta races.
And Jerry can talk to James Dent right now.
Well, James, how about that? You come to Daytona, and right now you're in the top 10, 57.572 seconds. That's got to make you smile.
Yes, sir. I'm real proud. We worked really hard, and have to thank Mr. Barry Owen for all the help he's done with Owen Racing, his crew, and Jan Smith's my engine builder. He's done a heck of a job. And I have to thank my family for putting me here in this position. Most of all, I have to thank my sponsors, Coastal Auto Parts and Snap-on Tools, and thank the good Lord for a safe day.
All right, a little tire smoke off Hennessy's car. A lot of tire smoke off the car number 43 of Hennessy's. You watch that car in qualifying. James, I got to ask you, I get kidded all the time. My name is Punch. Now, a race car driver with the last name of Dent, you got to take some ribbing, right?
Yeah, they kind of give me trouble with that, especially on short tracks. So have to watch out or I live up to my name, So.
All right, good luck to you on Friday. No dents during this race.
I appreciate it. I hope not.
All right, Bob.
Sounds like a great vaudeville comedy team to me, Punch and Dent, right? Boy, there's a lot of smoke coming out of that car. Is that just tire rub, you think?
Yeah, he just got the back end really low, trying once again to get that spoiler out of the wind and make it go faster. So Hennessy, what did he do? Sponsored by Myrtle Beach. I guess that's the convention and visitors department down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Hey, pretty good run, 57.690 seconds. Average speed, 156.006 miles per hour.
And now Eric Wilson is on the bubble at Daytona. Welcome back to Daytona. I'm Bob Jenkins, along with Benny Parsons up here in the booth, and Jerry and Bill, who have been down there on their feet since 12:30 this afternoon. We are about to wrap this thing up. Ned Combs is the current qualifier. The gentleman who finished 8th in the 1996 Goody's Dash points with 4 top 5 finishers. He does have 1 career win in the series. And again, he is trying to better the 58.779 second lap of Eric Wilson, who's on the bubble, or even better than that, better the 55.185 second lap by Will Hopgood. And it appears as if Ned Combs has come off the run. I don't believe he completed it, did he?
No, he's down coming off turn 4, and he's shut the thing down and coasting towards the pits. Ned told us this morning the car just was not running as well as he'd hoped. He was going to have to depend on the draft to be able to gain any positions. So he will not get a qualifying time. Have to do that tomorrow.
This is the rundown as it stands right now. Hopgood on top of the list.
And we see a bunch of Pontiacs there, a couple of Fords. Bryant in 9th spot, Crenshaw in 11th, Weaver in 14th. Now 16 through 30. Some more Pontiacs, and we even found a Chevrolet in 16th spot. 20th spot, we see Eric Wilson is on the bubble. All these other cars from 21st on back have been bumped. We'll have to find some speed for tomorrow, and there's the 40 cars that have qualified so far.
Okay, out to qualify now is Robert Huffman, a veteran of the series, 2nd in points last year with 16 top 10 finishes in 21 races. He has 9 career Dash wins and has been participating in this 200-mile race here at Daytona 5 previous occasions. This will be his 6th race at the World Center of Racing.
Sponsored by White House Apple Juice. Green flag is out. Waves for Robert Huffman.
He was the 1988 Hickory Motor Speedway late model stock champion and the 1989 Tri-County and Hickory late model champion, the 1990 NASCAR Goody's Dash Series champion, and also Rookie of the Year. And Robert won 3 races last year at Hickory, Florence, and Myrtle Beach. Jerry is with Ned Combs. What went wrong down there?
Well, Ned, a long-time short track driver from my neck of the woods, Newton, North Carolina. Ned, what happened?
We had some sort of engine trouble. We've not been doing too good all week, so we tried to tune it down a little bit too much, I guess. She let go on the backstretch there.
How much warning did you have to start to vibrate, or did you just go all of a sudden? She go boom?
No, she just spluttered, so I shut it down.
All right, you got another motor for qualifying tomorrow?
Yeah, we've got another one, so hopefully we'll be better tomorrow.
All right, Ned Combs didn't get a chance to qualify. And the good thing about these cars, Bob, the motors are so small, I saw a guy carrying one through the garage by himself this morning, seeing if he could sell it.
Robert Huffman is currently 6th fastest. Good run for Robert, 56.369, 159.662.
He said he wanted to be in the top 10, 12th best he'd ever qualified here. Felt like if he could qualify in the top 10, he might be able to keep up with them. Looks like doing pretty good. 6th, 159.662. So Eric Wilson's been bumped, and now Dave Stacy is on the bubble.
Yes, he is. And with only about 6 more cars, I believe, to qualify, the next car scheduled to go out is Chad Branham. There he is. He kind of hesitated there for a moment. I didn't know whether he was going to get the thing fired up or not, but he is on the racetrack, and Chad Branham from Ridgeway, South Carolina, will be our next qualifier. There's another graduate of the go-karts. Started driving go-karts in 1989 and stayed in that division until 1995. He drove in 9 races last year in the Dash Series and finished 24th in points. Shop Talk will be presented in its entirety at the conclusion of Goody's Dash qualifying here at Daytona. You'll be able to purchase cars a little bit smaller than these, but not much.
Die-cast, 1/24th. Branham goes high up on the racetrack, trying to get his car up to speed. Pretty neat looking little car.
Yeah, it is. This guy was pretty good in go-karts. He won over 200 main events. So he's going from the go-karts to the Goody's Dash Series, and the green flag comes out. He is on his qualifying run. Dave Stacy is on the bubble with a 153.158 mile per hour lap.
Yeah, the go-kart probably weighed 200 pounds. These cars weigh 2,650 pounds with the drivers. So I guess they probably weigh about 2,450 to start with. Four-cylinder engines, and as Jerry Punch said, they're very, very light. You can put them in your hip pocket almost.
Chad Branham from Ridgeway, South Carolina, driving the CB Racing Pontiac.
Says something and Son, Jeffers and Son or something on the quarter panel. New sponsor, got a better deal.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's right. Jefferson Son Steel Erection Incorporated is the main sponsor on the car. Here's the checkered flag, and Chad Branham has done his job.
58.763 the time to beat to get in the show. He did not quite do it. 59.318. Average speed 151.725 miles per hour.
Bill is with Andy Houston.
Andy, what are you doing back here, man?
Well, motor burned a piston there, and didn't get a chance to get the other motor in before first round qualifying. So we're going to go out in the morning, make some laps, and get ready for second round. I think we'll be in good shape.
This has not exactly been the best place for you. What happened a year ago? Like your window didn't fit or something.
Yeah, they had some problems with some air ducts, and you're right, it hasn't been bad, but we've been really fast. We've been struggling a little bit this week, and we've got another motor in. Bill Ricker and his whole bunch of guys here has been working real hard. So, you know, we'll just have to give it our best shot tomorrow and kind of see how everything goes.
So last year you started deep in the field, you clawed your way into the top 10, and then rear end gear went away.
Yeah, and it looks like deja vu, you know. I mean, we're gonna be able to start 21st, and I'm hoping we can get this thing up to speed to where we'll be able to qualify that fast. But we're just gonna have to give it a whirl in the morning and see what happens.
We'll be watching. Good luck.
Thanks, Bill.
Doc Punch.
All right, the White House Apple Juice Pontiac, Robert Huffman, Rookie of the Year and champion, all in the same year. Now you're sixth quickest here. You comfortable with the run?
Well, I tell you, we're real excited this year. I've never started any better than 12th here, and you know we generally run awful good in the race. And I feel like if I could start in the top 10, that'd be a good accomplishment. You know, because I really feel like we can run good in the race.
Is apple juice good for you?
Well, the White House brand is.
Atta baby, you got it right. Hey, a minute ago I asked him, I said, is that good for you? He said, it's good for me. They're on my race car, aren't they? Good luck, Robert.
Okay, we might be seeing a pole run here. This is Mike Swaim Jr., who has been very, very fast in the practice. He takes the checkered flag. Let's see if he knocks Will Hopgood off the pole. Will's been there for a long time.
He has, but I'll bet you this is the pole man right here.
Oh, boy, are you good.
54.960, 163.755 miles per hour.
Boy, he waited till almost the end of the afternoon. We only got four more cars to qualify, and Mike Swaim has done it. He has qualified for the pole for Friday's race with a 163.775, if that time can hold up. But remember, we've got 4 more cars to qualify.
Wow, pretty good run. 163 miles per hour with these 4-cylinder engines. 165 cubic inches, restricted down to 1 1/8 inches.
There they are. The 47 is Keith Wilson. The 77 is Larry Caudill. Don't count him out. The 45 is John Redmond. And who's that car there closest to us there with the 3? Is it oh, it's yeah, it is 13. It's Sonny Yoakum. So those 4 drivers have a shot at knocking Mike Swaim Jr. off the pole. But for right now, he's there for Friday's race at Daytona. We'll be right back. Keith Wilson is on the racetrack here at Daytona in the final hour of the NASCAR Goodies Dash qualifying.
I mean, we have been here final minutes.
Well, we've been here since 12:30 this afternoon, and Shop Talk was supposed to air at 5 o'clock. It didn't, obviously. We wanted to complete this qualifying round, and so you can see it in its entirety as soon as we get through with these 4 cars.
By the way, Dave Stacy, the 6 car, has been bumped, and now Pat Patterson is on the bubble.
Bill is with Will Hopgood, who was the pole sitter.
Now tell me, you could almost taste that champagne for winning the pole, couldn't you?
Yeah, it was close. I tell you, it looked like everybody slowed down but us. We picked up a couple mile an hour, and everybody else was losing a couple. And when it got down right there to the end, I figured he would be the one that could beat us. And he beat us by a fraction. I don't know exact time. I think he was a 9-something, and we was a flat, so it was close.
You were there for a long time, though.
That's it. It's fun.
Okay, we'll get him Friday.
All right, thank you.
All right, and Jerry is with the new provisional pole sitter.
Well, Mike Swaim Jr. did it a year ago, and Mike, thus far, with a couple of cars left to run, you're on the pole, 163.755 miles an hour. Great lap.
Thank you very much, Jerry. I can't say enough about Jan Smith and my crew. Everybody busted their butt to get this car as good as it was. We were really off in testing, and Barry Owen went back and reworked our body, and Jan got us a better motor, and, here we are on the pole so far.
You drove this race last year from the pole. You finished third. Some of the guys said you learned a lot a year ago. What did you learn in last year's race?
How to draft is the biggest thing. It's a lot harder than it looks. I found that out. Going to have to work on that some in practice to get the car real comfortable. It's a little loose right now, dancing around, but we're going to put a good race setup under it. One thing I got to say is that thanks to Ben Hyder and Goodyear, appreciate that a lot, guys, letting us tire test and, concerning about this division enough to put an interliner in our tires. I really appreciate all the time Goodyear spent with us.
All right, have a great one on Friday, but most importantly, have a safe one.
Thank you, Jerry.
Mike Swaim Jr., guys, could be the pole sitter for 2 years in a row.
That's a pretty nice statement.
Yes, it was.
Thank you, Goodyear, putting the interliners in the cars.
Nice young man. Larry Caudle is on the racetrack. I'm not sure. I guess he's picking up speed, but he looks like he's going awfully slow. Larry is from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, has 34 career wins in this series. And I think he's off the pace. He's just not up to speed.
Yeah, it sure appears to be. Yeah, looks like he's coming down pit road. Yes, he is.
Well, looks like he and several others will be involved in second round qualifying tomorrow, which you will see live on the Deuce tomorrow afternoon. Our coverage begins at 1 o'clock. 2 more cars to qualify now, and our afternoon will be over. Now, Keith Wilson, I'm not sure we told everybody about Keith Wilson. He was 30th quick, 59.418, 151.469 for Keith Wilson, car number 47.
And this is John Redmond from Fairfax Station, Virginia. The Jordan Corporation, that's the wrecker folks, the rollback people. Going out to make his qualifying attempt.
He finished 18th in points in 1996 and was pretty fast in the practice today, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was 7th or 8th, something like that. 10th, I guess he was in this morning's practice.
And he has been racing since 1992. Started in the hobby stock division at Old Dominion Speedway in Manassas, Virginia, and then moved up to the grand stock at that racetrack in 1993 and 94, and has been racing the Dash Series since 1995.
See John dashing off into turn 3, high on the racetrack, trying to make this racetrack big, get out of that miles per hour he possibly can. When he comes down for the start-finish line, he was right up in that top groove.
The Jordan Corporation Pontiac is the sponsor, and the green flag is out. He only had 12 starts in his season last year in the Goody's Dash Series. Didn't have a pole, a win, or a top 5, but did have 3 top 10 finishes in the series. Once again, number 11, Pat Patterson, is on the bubble. That is the 20th fastest qualifier so far, 154.059. And the pole speed is 163.755, turned in by Mike Swaim Jr. just moments ago.
Bet you we say goodbye to Patterson.
You think so?
Yep.
This looks like a pretty good run, huh?
Pat's in trouble.
Well, okay. We'll see how good a predictor you are. John Redmond comes off of corner number 4 into the tri-oval. Checkered flag is waving. And we now just have one more car to qualify, and that will be Sonny Yoakum from Hammond, Louisiana, and Jerry Punch has more.
Well, guys, Larry Caudle, who's won this race 3 times and a 2-time series champion, just came down pit road. He shut the car down a moment ago, his Husqvarna Pontiac, saying the car was missing or sputtering. They have brought it down pit road, pulled it down where the NASCAR officials are standing by. They're going to take the plugs out. There's only 4 plugs to take out. They're going to pull the plugs out, see if they can find out if he maybe fouled a plug and get him back out to qualifying, but the clock is ticking for Larry Caudill to be able to get a lap and get a shot at the pole today.
Okay, so we may have 2 more qualifiers, but we will at least have 1 more, and this is the next qualifier, Rattlesnake Racing, car number 13, Sonny Yoakum from Hammond, Louisiana.
There we see him working on the car. Bill Weber walking over to check everything out. By the way, John Redmond did in fact qualify 12th spot, 57.406, average speed 156.778 miles per hour.
And so Pat Patterson is bumped, and now on the bubble is Robert Ham.
So Larry Caudill drives down towards the NASCAR official at the end of pit road like he wants to go out and make another qualifying attempt. Here comes Sonny Yoakum down to take the green flag and start off on his qualifying run.
Started racing back in 1993 in the Goodies Dash Series. That's been the only series that he has participated in. He was 22nd in last year's race. And it's called Rattlesnake Racing, and do you know why? Because one of the things he likes to do for a hobby, to have fun, is hunt rattlesnakes.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun, I'm sure. And uh-oh, he's got a problem. Looks like the engine has gone sour on Yoakum's car. He came off second corner, saw a trail of a little bit of smoke, and he pulled down to the inside.
So he too will look toward tomorrow and second round qualifying. And our only question now is, will Larry Caudill be able to go out onto the track and correct his problems and qualify?
Sure, let him go. Let him rip.
Yoakum's car is going very slowly over in turn number 3. He's got it down onto the apron, but it's still on the track, and so they'll let it come around a little bit further before they allow Larry to go out. There's Sonny.
Did not get a qualifying time in. Was on his green flag lap. Go ahead, Larry.
There you go.
There we go. The Husqvarna car off and running to make his qualifying run. Hey, Weber, did they have a foul plug on that car?
Yeah, that's what they said, Benny. That's exactly what they think it is. So it still doesn't sound too good, but we'll see what happens here.
There's the team talking about it. You know, when you only got 4 cylinders and lose 1, you lose 25%.
Yep. Doesn't sound very good, does it?
No, I think he better bring her back in.
Yep.
I don't think the 3 cylinders going to do well. Only in John Deere's do 3 cylinders.
So the 2-time champion, 1987 and 88, apparently will not have enough speed to qualify here this afternoon.
I don't know what purpose it would serve into running a lap at this speed. He probably can tear up more than he can do. Probably the most logical thing to do, and I think he has cut it off and is coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we have seen the last of qualifying for the Goodies Dash Series. Congratulations goes out to Mike Swaim Jr., the pole sitter for Friday's Discount Auto Parts 200.
So for the second consecutive year, he will start from the pole position in this race. Will Hobgood will line up alongside in row number 1.
There we see Mary Amick Sockwell, that's top 5. Mickey York, Robert Huffman, Danny Bagwell, Jake Hobgood, and Carr in the 10th spot. Bryant, Redmond, Dent, Crenshaw, and Bill Hennessy is 15th.
Now 16 through 30, and again the top 20 are locked into position. So Robert Ham there in car number 56 is guaranteed the 20th spot in the field. Those qualifying from 21st on back will have their option of either standing on that time or participating in second round qualifying tomorrow. Here is 31 now through 45.
And we see that is the 45 cars that have taken the time here this afternoon. Marty Houston in the Toyota have got some work to do to get that car up to speed. Edward Howell also in the 70 car.
And so that pretty much does it from Daytona. It's been an exciting afternoon of qualifying. There are the 2 that were not able to complete their qualifying run. So it's been an interesting day, and I'm sure it will be an interesting day tomorrow when we come back for more. RPM tonight is at 7 o'clock, about an hour and 23 or 4 minutes from now, and the special guests will be Richard Petty and Bobby Hamilton, Ken Schrader, and Ricky Craven. That's with John Kernan, 7 o'clock tonight here on ESPN. Tomorrow, second round NASCAR Busch Series and Dash qualifying, and then practice for the Cup, Busch, IROC, and Dash Series. It all begins at 1 o'clock. Coming up next here on ESPN2 will be Shop Talk. So stay around for that. And we wish you a good evening. We certainly are glad that you joined us here at Daytona today. And we got a lot more for you tomorrow, so make sure that you are here. Jerry Punch and Bill Weber, thanks for your great help down there in the pits. I know it's been a long afternoon, but good job. And Benny Parsons and I and Bill and Jerry will see you tomorrow. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now join us tomorrow for Winston Cup, second round qualifying for Busch Grand National and second round qualifying for the Goody Dash Series. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock on the Deuce.